Good morning, my friends. I am feeling a little rusty, I have to be honest, because it's been a couple of weeks since I last filmed. Obviously, I didn't miss any uploads, or at least I don't think I did. But the last few videos that you saw from me, I filmed over the course of a couple of weeks just because I knew I was going to have so much going on. So I wanted to have a little live update, a little catch up, tell you where I've been, and then we are going to do a little bit of a luxury unboxing. Now, if you don't care where I've been, I will make sure to leave a timestamp up on the screen here, just so you can skip ahead into the unboxing. I wanted to show you a couple of new things that are new in my wardrobe and in my life for fall winter. Some of these things you have heard me talk about before, while others are brand new, and I did want to put them on your radar. But if you're interested in what's been going on, the reason I had to pre-film a couple of videos in advance is because I had a friend visiting. That I ran my first half marathon, which was quite the experience. There has obviously been so much on my plate with working, going back to school, having pie, continuing to work out, and trying to have a social life, that the half marathon was really the last thing that I needed. So it was quite the challenge to run it. Not really physically, of course, don't get me wrong, it was a lot to run. 21 point, is it 2 kilometers, something along those lines. It was definitely a lot to run that much, but I felt that it was more mentally challenging just because I've had so much going on. So there were a couple of points during the run when I felt like quitting, but I didn't. In fact, I was able to beat my time. So I was hoping to run the half marathon in just about an hour and 40 minutes, but I ended up doing it in 1 hour and 32 minutes, which is obviously a lot faster than I expected. Even the day of, I wasn't sure how fast I was going to be able to do it. I was really just aiming for 140, but as soon as I started running, I just felt that I had more energy in me. So the first 10K I ran, I think at like 4:15, at a 4:15 pace, which is a lot faster than what I had anticipated. I know that I can run that fast for like 10K, but I wasn't sure if it was going to be sustainable for any longer than that, but it was. And then I eventually slowed down a little bit, but I was still able to make it in a really good time, which I'm really happy with. I do not see myself doing any more half or full marathons. I think for the next year, I would like to work on running a little bit faster and maybe running shorter distances. So that was basically my half marathon experience. I know I have been talking about it. I feel like I've been running for 6, 7 months at this point. I started running earlier this year, and I know that it's something that I had mentioned a couple of times that I was going to do this. So I wanted to kind of give you an update on this storyline here. So yes, the half marathon is over, and I'm pretty happy with how I did. In fact, I'm very happy with how I did because I was able to not only achieve my goal but also beat it. And then the following week, I had a cold and my first college exam. Now, something I did not realize going to college in the Netherlands, and I don't think it's something that you would know either, is that here they don't do semesters. Instead, they do blocks. So within a traditional semester setup, you have several different blocks, meaning that you take 2 or 3 subjects for 8 weeks. And at the end of those 8 weeks, you do have an exam or an assignment on each one that's due. And then you move on to your next block with brand new subjects, which obviously it has its pros and cons. I personally am not the biggest fan of this setup and this timing, just because I feel like by the time you get into a new routine, you're already changing up your subjects and changing up your schedule. So, I do prefer the traditional semester setup. What's wrong, my baby? Sorry, guys, I think Pi is just having a little bit of a nightmare. Yeah, so I do still prefer the semester setup, but it is what it is. So now I am taking classes in 8-week blocks, and obviously I have been in school for 9 weeks at this point, which is crazy that 9 weeks have gone by so fast. I mean, I still remember when I started applying to college, and now I'm done with my first block. So the first block was all about just an overview of different psychological orientations and different ways of approaching psychology. And I had my first exam last Friday, which was quite annoying because I woke up on Friday with a pretty bad cold, which is something I have been struggling with since. But I did my exam, I got my results, I passed, and I passed with a great grade, something that I'm happy with. So that's out of the way, and hopefully now I can get back into my usual routine of filming. So today I wanted to share with you a couple of things that I've been buying. I bought something during the Hermes event that I went to. If you have not seen my video on that really fun Hermes event, I will make sure to have that linked up here for you. Then I did a video on Remova, which I'm not sure how many of you have seen that. If you haven't, again, it's part of my Truth About series, the series where I do a deep dive on some very iconic and popular luxury brands. And I thought that Remova would be an interesting one to look into, considering that it is such a hyped brand and there is a lot to know about. Obviously, their suitcases start at just around $1,000, which is a crazy amount of money to spend on a suitcase. But in my humble opinion, it is justified. And if you would like to find out why that is, you can check out that video. I discuss everything that you could possibly want to know about the brand. And then I have bought a couple of other things for fall winter. There's a new jacket that I wanted to show you, which I'm actually going to exchange for another one because the zip is faulty. And then I bought something for a Halloween party, which I got a ton of questions on over on Instagram. So I wanted to share that here. And then just a couple of little lifestyle bits. So if that sounds interesting to you and you'd like to have just a really relaxed, laid back, chatty luxury unboxing slash haul, a very informal one, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. And keep on watching. I hope my mic doesn't look too crazy, but I cannot hold it and also show you stuff at the same time. So I had to tuck it into my vest. I hope it's not too distracting. But anyway, without further ado, let's jump into the unboxing as promised. So I wanted to show you a few full essentials. I mean, it's not like you need anything from this video, but if you like home wear, if you like making your home feel a little bit more cozy in the fall winter, I do think the best way to do it is by having some scented candles in your home. You know that candles are kind of my love language, and some of my go-to candles are diptyque candles. Now, something that I have recently gone back to is their scent called Santa. I am a big fan of nargile in the winter especially, but I will burn it all year round. But Santa is actually one of the first diptyque candles I ever discovered. But for some reason, I just went off of burning it in my home. But I have recently gone back to using this in my bedroom. And I don't understand why I ever stopped using it, because it is such a beautiful, creamy, cozy, warm scent. It's not your typical Santa. It doesn't have that cool dryness like diptyque, not diptyques, but Le Labo Santa would. This definitely feels a little bit more homey to me, a lot warmer, a lot more just cocooning, which I really appreciate. So this is definitely something that I would suggest giving a try for fall winter. And then something that is brand new in my home is actually Glossier candles. This is not brand new to the brand. It's something that they have been doing for a while. Every time I stop by one of their boutiques, I'm always so impressed by how nice they smell. And of course, they burn their own candles. The original candle line comes in 3 different scents. So you have the iconic Glossier U scent, which is the one that I picked up, which I do love the Glossier U fragrance. It is an iconic fragrance for a reason. Personally, it's not something that I would want to wear. For me, it is just a little bit too soft and too delicate, but I do love that scent, which is why I picked up the Glossier U candle. You can also buy this candle in, I think, the Sandstone scent, which I do love that scent in a deodorant, but I do not want my home to smell like that. And then they also have an orange blossom scented candle, which is nice, but it just smells like a body lotion. Again, not something that I would want to fill my home with, but I do love the Glossier U candle. If you love the original fragrance, this is not identical, but it does have, to me, in terms of the candle and the way this smells, to me, it almost feels like a more delicate, more lighter take on Diptyque Bay. So if you love Diptyque Bay, this is not identical by any means, but it is kind of in a similar vein. So I'm very excited to start burning this. And I also love the Scarlet Red Vessel. I do think it is quite special. And since I was already on the site, I also got one of their new birthday candles. Glossier has just turned, I think they are 10 years old at this point, which the reason it's crazy is because I have been using Glossier since pretty much, no, they can't be 10 years old. Are they 10 years old? Anyway, they've been around for a while and I have been using Glossier pretty much since the inception of the brand. I remember the first products that they came out with for skincare was the jelly cleanser, the priming moisturizer, and the balm.com. And the balm.com is something that I have been using consistently ever since they launched. So when they came out with a birthday scented candle, I had to jump on it, not only because I am a big fan of the brand, but also because I love gourmand scented candles. So this is inspired by a birthday cake, and I have to be honest, I do love this scent. It is very warm and cozy, but it is slightly bath and body work adjacent, so I would not spend the money on it. It is slightly more expensive than the regular Glossier candles, which is of course because it's a limited edition scent, and also because it comes in this beautiful metallic jar, which I love the look of, but the scent, I don't think I would necessarily buy this again. I do like it, it's warm, it's cozy, but it is just not the most refined take on vanilla or a birthday cake I have ever smelled, but I do love, again, the metallic jar, which is limited edition. So if I was to recommend something from Glossier, this wouldn't be the one. I would much rather put the original Glossier You candle on your radar, or just their lip balm, which by the way also comes in a birthday cake flavor. And then diptyque candles you cannot go wrong with. I do love Santal, I do love Nargile, and then Bay is a classic that I always have burning in my living room. And with that, let's move on to a couple of pieces of ready-to-wear that I recently picked up. So I went to a Halloween party, which I posted about over on my Instagram, and so many of you were wondering where my top was from, which it is a Rick Owens top. It's something that they have been doing for a couple of years. I think they call it the banana top, which I'm not sure why that is. Maybe because of this like asymmetrical detail. It kind of has the shape of a banana, perhaps that's what it is, but it's actually a top that I also own in like an ivory off-white color. And when I knew that I was going to this Halloween party, I wanted to buy something that was kind of costumey. What I mean by that is that it was a little bit more special, but it was also a piece that I would wear again. I hate wasting money on things that you can only wear once, and this is something that I knew was special enough for me to wear to a party, but it was something that I would very happily wear on a daily basis. So I was really excited to find this in black, because when I bought the ivory version, that was the only color that it was available in. And I think it might have come in a moss green too. For this current season, they're doing this top in black and also in kind of like a Bordeaux, like a deep, rich burgundy color, which is also really nice, but black you cannot go wrong with. So this is something that I wanted to mention here. I'm definitely going to put some pictures in here, because I doubt that you're going to be able to see the details while it's on the hanger. One thing that I would say is that I will make sure to have it linked down below for you, but it does run very, very small, like most pieces of Rick Owens. And another piece of clothing that I recently picked up is actually a jacket from the brand Pangaia, which I'm sure you are familiar with if you're really into your sweat sets. It's a brand that is most well known for their sweats, which there is a reason for that. Their sweat sets come in some really fun, quirky colors. They have some great fits and some really funky branding, which is what they are best known for. And I myself love their sweat sets, but I didn't realize how vast and expensive their range is at this point. So I was really happy to see that now they're also doing jackets. I picked up this slightly cropped, puffy bomber jacket, which I thought would be a great transitional piece. Obviously, I do have some more cozy, more warm puffy jackets from Hermes and also from Canada Goose, which I can rely on in the dead of winter. But I don't always need such warm jackets, so I thought that this would be a great in-between jacket, and it really is. And I also love how flattering the actual shape is. One thing that I do not appreciate, however, is the zipper. The zipper I just cannot undo sometimes, especially when I have this jacket on me. I have been playing around with this for the past few weeks. I have not had a chance to wear it out because the zipper is so annoying. It always gets stuck. So I'm actually going to send this back and have them send me another one. And I hope that this is just a full zipper and it's not something that all the jackets share, because if that's the case, I will be very disappointed, because this jacket is not too expensive, but it's still, I think it was still just under 400 euros. And for 400 euros, I do want the zipper to work, especially if I'm going to wear this while I'm out and about. I don't want to struggle with the zipper when I get to a restaurant or when I get to a place where I want to take my jacket off. So that is a little bit annoying. I'll keep you posted. But if you are looking for a more flattering puffy jacket, this I think would be a great one for you to look into, especially if you don't need something quite as heavy and as substantial as a Canada Goose jacket. This I think would be a great piece to have in your collection. And last but not least, if you watched my Hermes vlog, you may remember me mentioning that I could not leave the store empty-handed. Even though I did not come home with a piece of fine jewelry, I did buy a new pair of shoes, which, surprise, surprise, I ended up with another pair of white sneakers. And it's actually not a new style from Hermes. It's something that they've been doing for a couple of seasons. And even though I wasn't the biggest fan initially, it has slightly grown on me, especially when I had a chance to try on the style, because the style I actually found quite flattering. There is definitely something slightly vintagey about it, which I actually quite like, which is, as you probably guessed, I mean, I feel like I've given it away, is another pair of white sneakers. If you know me, you know that I pretty much live in white sneakers. Not pretty much, I do live in white sneakers. To be specific, in Celine white sneakers, they are by far my favorite, but I always like to play around with different white sneakers. So I recently picked up this pair from Hermes in white leather. This is a style that they first started doing in canvas and in denim, but now this style is also available in leather, which I do think just makes white sneakers a little bit longer lasting. It is a really simple kind of PE style, like an old school sort of gymnast style. That's what they kind of reminded me of in terms of the shape style of sneakers. And then they have the Hermes emblem on the side, and this font actually belongs in their equestrian line. So it just says Hermes Paris on the side, which I could live with that, especially considering that Hermes is also embossed on the back. But I did really like this style, and I liked how low profile the shoe was. So I thought I would give it a try, because you can really never have enough white sneakers, especially considering how quickly I go through them. Now, this is a style that's offered both for men and women in a ton of different shades, colors, and even finishes. So as I mentioned, it is available in leather, but you can also find it in canvas. And then for this current season, this style is also offered with a leopard print, which might sound crazy if you hear that Hermes is doing cheetah or leopard printed shoes for this current season. But if you know Hermes, you know it's something that has been part of their iconography for many years, since they launched their Jungle Love printed scarf. So cheetah and leopard is something that the brand plays around with every now and again. And if you do love a pop of color or a pop of print, you can now find these in leopard print too, which is personally not my cup of tea, but I did really like this all white pair, which I really think will go with anything and everything. I have not had a chance to actually wear these out, but I'll definitely keep you posted on how I choose to style them, and if they're able to dethrone my beloved Celine CT04 sneakers. My friends, I think I'm going to wrap this video up here, because I am starting to struggle to talk. My throat is really starting to hurt, but I really appreciate you being here and watching. And please let me know in the comment section what is the latest addition to your fall wardrobe. I cannot wait to hear from you. And while you're down there, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. And let me know what video you would like to see from me next. I will see you back here with a new video really, really soon.